Good afternoon, good morning, good evening, and welcome back to the channel. This is MUFC Realist TV with Beat the Press. I'm Mick Ruby.
I'm Mark. Big up.
Big up. Listen, guys, Manchester United is on a transformative journey. It's a significant announcement since the Sir Jim Ratcliffe's Trawlers Limited, or some people call it Ineos, acquiring the 25% stake, has now been signed off and ready to rock and roll. It is a little bit of a history within Manchester United as the club sets its sights on restructuring its footballing operations under the new ownership. The magnitude of this task ahead becomes apparent.
Sir Jim Ratcliffe definitely wasted no time, signaling a comprehensive overhaul, aiming to assemble the top-tier talent across all departments while dismantling what we are perceived as lingering vestiges of the past administration. Jobs for the boys. The culture is particularly associated with former CEO Ed Woodward's regime. Mick, insider reports suggest imminent changes. Who are they?
Well, Sir Jim Ratcliffe we've seen that Dave Brailsford has been there analyzing, performance management. He's been there for over 2 months assessing, and the new appointment of CEO Omar Barada, speculations around these potential departments is key executives, including sporting director John Murtough, technical director Darren Fletcher. What does Darren Fletcher do?
No one knows.
And CFO, was the acting CEO, Patrick Stewart, and Colette Roche, which is the Chief Operating Officer. Why Colette Roche? Well, Mark, what do you think?
Well, maybe it's because of her role recently in certain situations that have arisen in the club with Mason Greenwood, the likes of Anthony, and including Jadon Sancho. It has been some difficult situations with the leaks as well.
The leaks. Guys, there's a lot of things to talk about. We're going to round things up in approximately 30 minutes. We're going to talk about what is the latest with Dan Ashworth's situation. Before we continue, welcome to MUFC Realist TV Beat the Press. Please smash that like button, subscribe if you haven't, because here we go. Back in 10 seconds. Oh, what happened here? Was more than 15 seconds. You know what I mean. Sorry. Hey, here we are. That didn't work. We are back then more than a flash because it's urgency. Mark, how you doing?
I'm good. How is everyone going? I hope everyone in the VR room is ready because, it's going to be a big one for us today.
Yeah, it has to be. It has to be. We're having a little bit of a technical issues, but it's Friday, TGIF, and there's a lot of things that's been going on around Manchester United, of course. Massive changes are happening. I've been speaking to a lot of people within the agency side of it, people around the club, close sources, as a lot of people are saying, this is going to be a massive overhaul. That means that not just only on the player side, but on the executive side, across all the boards has been assessed. This is what we call the 90 days period of, strategical review, isn't it?
Yeah, and
Performance management.
these guys are no mugs. The Ineos team that came in, they've been doing their due diligence since they came in December, and now they have collected information over that period of time on what they're going to do. There's lots of people they've been looking at. The smiling assassin is always in the building every day.
Yeah.
He's always at Carrington. Sir
Yeah.
Dave Bradford, the one and only we're talking about. And, he's probably been observing people who've been like, what are you doing? What is your job here? What is your role today?
That
Why
is
are you
exactly
here?
what he's been doing. That is exactly what he's been doing. I just released an article after 1 week's investigation. Of course, me being working as an ex-intermediate football agent, I have a lot of contacts within the FA industry. People that deal with the Manchester United on a daily basis, and they do talk to you. They do really talk. So there's definitely a big shake-up going on, what I've been hearing. And it's just not one source, it's plenty of sources I've been talking to be honest, Mark.
Yeah, and they must be mentioning lots of things about the way we've been conducting ourselves in the transfer market, the way we've been dealing with players, negotiations, how we've been, recruiting these players. What are the reasons? Is it because of they could sell us shirts, or is it based on talent? What have they been doing? I'm pretty sure they're going to tell you a lot. Mick, what are your thoughts on the current situation? What is going on with John Murtough, really?
John Murtough role is in particular in scrutiny, 100%. I can tell you that there's a lot of criticism and a lot of damning reports coming out from the player agent side as well that's been dealing with it. It's ranging from all falling effective manage the player acquisitions to sales to prioritizing ownership interests like the Glazers' interest over the managers and footballing needs. There's been instances what I've been hearing as well, such as perpetrated overpayment for, like, let's say Ajax winger Anthony Dos Santos, and that's been like misquoted as from Anthony's agent, who goes on a holiday in the middle of a transfer window. So let me just give you the case scenario. That's John Murtough. They overpaid for Anthony Dos Santos, 90 million, 90
Mm.
million, while the winger's value was about 35 million pounds, right? Sources within the Dos Santos camp, we're talking about Junior Pedrosa, has told us basically we made a meal out of it. We basically pulled his pants down, right? And he said, "Who goes away in the middle of the summer transfer window and comes back at the very end of it?" So Ajax at that point had no rush to sell him. They knew they was desperate. They slapped a high fee on it and couldn't negotiate. It was desperate. So basically, they came to agreement on 250K per wages. The fee ended up around 95 million. The mother club itself, which is Sao Paulo, got a sell-on fee as well, which I think believe was 15%, and everyone was laughing, going away, with the pockets full. And I think John Murtough was pulled down his pants. And now you can see the performance on the pitch is, what did we buy? What did we buy? Um, so, what's your thoughts regarding Anthony Dos Santos? Did we overpay?
Yeah, well, in my opinion, from being a fan and observing what was happening over the period of time, we know Eric Ten Hag was very clear on the players he wanted coming in the club from since May 2nd in 2022. So it's one of those things where I was looking at it from the perspective he should have been in the club June 1st, the very first signing at the beginning of the window,
Mm.
along with the other targets that Ten Hag wanted, like, Jurriën Timber, who's now at Arsenal. But we ended up getting Martinez as well, who was also overpaid for. Another
Yep,
problem with John Murtough.
100%, 100%. I'm going to talk to you about that because there was another insider that told us 100% he doesn't know what he's doing, meaning he's a damning reflection on his CV, on his reputation around as a footballing director. That being a footballing director for one of the biggest club in the world with no pedigree, it's very, very damning. You know what I mean? And another instance is that one of the footballing agents for Moises Caicedo visited Carrington or Mayfair, offered actually Moises Caicedo to John Murtough. And the response was, he doesn't sell any shirts. He does not sell me any shirts. So basically, Moises Caicedo agents walked away, went to Brighton, and got a deal for 4.5 million pounds.
And
And
then
now
what
we've
happened?
seen, lo and behold, Chelsea bought him for 115 million. The list of failures goes on, and the achievements for us, it's just been, I can't even put a -1 on his performance. But another one told me, like, he's been chasing his payment for a year and a half, and he keeps pushing the can on the road and sending the negotiator, what's his name, Matt Hargreaves, to lower down the wage, to lower down actually what he's owed. You done business, you come to an agreement, you owe me 20 million, and this guy is coming back to negotiate, haggle for 10. This is a shambles, people. um Another more damning information is that he's outsourced pretty much everything that he does. And that kind of gives you an explanation that he doesn't really know what he does. So he's been giving out consultancy jobs for people that he trusts, that does majority of his work, the legal, the negotiations and stuff like that. So he's never been seen. The only thing is, that's what explains he goes on a holiday in the middle of the transfer window. So
Interesting.
and that is the big contrast then in getting a Dan Ashworth in, which, by the way, it's very, very close on agreeing, Mark. Very, very close. Now, what have you been hearing regarding that? Because the stories around him, Manchester United paying the ransom fee of 20 million, it's absolutely BS.
Well, as you would mention that, to be fair, I've been hearing some reports coming out stating that Manchester United have been negotiating behind the scenes. It's just like the situation with Omar Barada. We only heard that he was announced. We didn't know when he was poached. We just know that it happened. And
Yeah.
currently, the reported figures are looking more in the region of £6 to £7 million, as you was
Yep.
reported last few days ago. Mick, you know you're always on top of these news. I don't
Yep.
know where you get your insider information from, but it's usually very accurate.
Well, my inside information is from a player agent that works on daily basis with Dan Ashworth. He's a good mates and also works with Manchester United. So they do talk to you if you are have a good relationships with them. You know what I mean? So this he said to me, "There's no way," but they have the right to ask. They have the right to ask because you know what? Dan Ashworth was acquired by Brighton and poached by Newcastle, and Newcastle then paid 5 million for Dan Ashworth. So it's pretty much they want to recuperate. And this negotiation fee, like 12 months garden leave, that is absolutely bullshit, bogus. So what they're trying to do here, Mark, is to say you pay us a little bit of a fee, and we will release him earlier within 3 months, and that's what it is. It's pay the ransom fee, and it looks like it's going to land there around 7 to 8, a maximum 10 million.
Well, that's very good. You know what I'm saying? Because at the same time, it must be very interesting what is happening. And when you look at his ability and what he's done, what he can do, he's definitely better than what we have at the club. Despite anyone that might have reservations according to his signing, I think it's something to look forward to. Omar Barada is also very, very good at what he's doing. It's one of those things where you have to look at it how the moves are being made by our current ownership, the co-ownership. Sir Jim Ratcliffe, he's making some critical moves. One can say his interest in developing a new stadium is also critical to the part of Man
Yep.
United getting back to where they need to be. And it all seems to me like he's making these moves in a very efficient manner. Now, we can sit here and say it's a lot of talk, but at the end of the day, we have to always also give it time and patience for it
Mm,
to happen.
when you look at you can be critical, but when you look at all what Ineos is all about, Dale Brailsford, the owner himself, Ratcliffe, all these three partners, they're elites, elite mentality. It's all about being elite. They're physical, they're running marathons, they're doing everything. It's all about winning, it's all about competing. Yeah, grit, what they said, determination, and humor is one of the slogans. Now, I'm not here to begin this up, but if you look at from a corporate structure, if you want to be successful in business, you got to have those ethos, right? You don't become a billionaire by just being lazy or having no structure. And this is definitely the right things to do because the jobs for the boys culture has been employing people on the inside without getting the right talent that you need to move forward. And that is what leads me into Darren Fletcher. Now, Darren Fletcher was hired when Ole Gunnar Solskjaer sacked together with John Murtough, if you remember. This for me was more of a fan pleasing. We never had a footballing director. We never had a technical director. It's never been that way. But it was more of a Glazer move to sort of divide and conquer, still divert the attention from the shambolic things that they weren't off the pitch by second goalless on Ole Gunnar Solskjaer. And in came Ralph Ragnick in this instant and started this whole revolution to say, hey, what the hell is going on in here? You remember Ralph Ragnick's open heart surgery? He was blunt. He just basically called the whole structure out. He did. He was the first one to call it out. And what happened? They didn't extend his, consultancy. Chop chop. But that was actually the start of it. And I know that Ineos have been speaking to him. They've been having conversations. They've been taking advice. So rest assured, like they have done their full due diligence on the entire operations from pillar to post, from top to bottom, and this is Dave Brailsford for you. That is his job. You know, you walk in and you're like a radar paling the whole thing and say, "What the hell is going on here? Why are we? Why having 1,500 employees where you can be 500? There's just wastage, right? What is your job title? What do you do? Huh? What is your output? Get out of here." And that's what's going on. Like if we talk about Darren Fletcher appointment as a technical director alongside Murtough, that raised a lot of eyebrows with fans. Like the question is like, what is his responsibility? Nobody really knows. Like who does training on the pitch, laying down cones, sitting on the dugout, whispering in the manager's ears, telling the manager who he should pick? You know, That is clear and obvious. Like it's not the manager that's been picking the team, but it's also been heavily scrutinized by saying that Murtough and Fletcher are the ones that've been whispering, saying you got to play this asset player. So it's arguably to say that they are servicing more the owner's interest than actually the footballing operation interest, Mark.
Yeah, it is. It's one of those things where you have to think about how it is going, and the football interest is always going to be most important, and everything must be aligned with that. You know what I mean? We can't just be focused on the commercial side.
No, sure, he's a nice guy. I mean, he's a very, he's a nice guy. Whenever you see him, everyone that's been talking to him, he's a very nice guy. But there's a lack of transparency. What is he really doing? Right? It's confusing, right? Plus, there's been a lot of leaks to the media, like coming from a certain place. Because if you're not loyal to the football operation, you get paid by the ownership to be disruptive. Um, Far more leaks has been coming out in the past couple of years than you ever seen before. Which is, at the end of the day, Manchester United's PR team has been profiting a lot. Like, we are the biggest club in the world. Every day has been coming out some story. There's no week, one single week, there's nothing damning about Manchester United coming out. And where's this leaks coming from? It's coming from the inside. 100% it's coming from the inside, Mark.
One hundred
Now,
percent, and that's probably due to one of the factors why they are looking at the possible removal of the CEO, who has also been linked with some of those leaks.
yeah, yeah, yeah. I mean, we got to be careful what we say here, but, you know, if you look at the chief operating officer, one of the most powerful women in England. Her CV background is within HR, human resources, as a HR director and stuff like that. And now she's I think she's 2021. She's been the chief operating officer, servicing alongside with Cliff Batty, and the old guard, to be honest. Um, but why you have new people coming in? Of course, they have assessed everything in how it's been handled with the Mason Greenwood situation, in what's been handled with the um, Jadon Sancho, Marcus Rashford, and what else? Anthony Dos Santos as well, right? If we take the instance of Sir Jim Ratcliffe speaking yesterday or the other day, getting questions regarding Jadon Sancho and Greenwood, he said something very interesting. If you remember what he said, Mark.
Oh, you were saying about Miss. You were saying that we need to check the facts. We need to examine the investigations that have been done, so we can understand the key points of the matter, how it affects us as a club. What can the player bring to the team? Is it better for him to be reintegrated, or is it better for us to part ways?
And
So
if
this
he's
is
a
what
good
he's saying.
and if he's a good guy,
And if
that's what
he's
he
a
said.
good guy, so he's
So
not going to
that's
pay attention to the social media hype. Basically, he's
no,
going to
no,
try
and,
to
and that is the
cut
proper way to
facts.
do. That is the proper way to do. So what really happened in this instance, in all of the instances, has been mismanaged by the whole leadership board, right? If you have a case reported about sexual conduct or misusing or coming late to work or punching somebody, that is a dismissal of employment. That's termination by any means in any job, right? Your job is in HR and operations is actually to do the investigations, to do everything, put the person on a garden leave. Well, we do that, like, stay away. That's what they did with Sancho. Stay away. Don't train with everything. You're a toxic element. But with the Greenwood situation, they did everything. They listened to the compelling evidence. They held it out. There was more compelling evidence that was actually presented by the media. And they came to a conclusion that the final decision comes up with the CEO, which is, in this case, Richard Arnold, right? That is what's, from my experience, I've been a global HR director in all my life, almost 20 years. And this final decision comes with a decision from the board. They decided that there was nothing wrongdoing, and they gave the green light to Ten Hag to say you're going to play. Same thing with the Sancho, was also handled like the way. But in the same time, somebody leaked it out. Somebody didn't like it and leaked it out to the Athletic, to the press, and it all went tits up, and then led to Richard Arnold was fired, right? So somebody has to take the responsibility, and who takes the responsibility is always the head on top of that CEO that needs to get going. So there's a lot of things that needs to be fixed there, like, and these guys are definitely looking to be, heads will be rolling, right, without even saying it will be. It's just what we've been hearing, and it is all up to Omar Barada. It's all about Dale Brailsford. But then amongst us, what you're saying, Mark, they've been assessing everything. They're going to bring in likes of replacing Darren Fletcher with Jason Wilcox, from Southampton, which is going to be deputy footballing director, but handling the technical issues like the academy, the player development. And then you're going to look at the head of recruitment. You're going to appoint best in class in all the divisions. All the divisions. So that is Breaking Bad. That is Breaking Bad. No more jobs for the boys. Because you know what? In order to have a structure, in order to have a sailing boat, right? You will set your sails to go from Manchester to Hobart in New Zealand. That's all the way around almost. You know, you need to have a set of value. You need to have a set of engine, sales, grit, determination. Everyone should be on the same page because you want to get there as fast as possible. The road from Manchester to Hobart is a straight line, point A to point B. What they're simply trying to do is eliminating the bottlenecks, right? By appointing the best in class people, they are specialists in their jobs, what they do. And from there, you do expect a massive overhaul in players in the summer. And we do expect investments in the squad. But what he said in the interview, what I admire, you got to have patience. Because me, that's been doing change management for many, many years, Rome wasn't built in one day. And it's not just about switching the lights, switching will happen. It will take you 1 to 2 transformative seasons to even be considering to challenge on the top. But it's not about how you do it, it is about when. It's a matter of fact of time. So everyone has to be patient, right?
Everyone has to be patient. And I see some of the guys in the VR room are coming in because I'm looking in as well live on the YouTube channel because for some reason we can't see all the comments. But I see Yarly's coming in and saying, if Woodward was in charge, we'd definitely be paying 60 million for the likes of the Ashworth deal. And I also see Stephanie Griffith is complaining about overpaying twice for
Mm.
different players under the puppets like Woodward and Arnold, in the same season. So it's things that, so what you have been saying about Sir Jim Ratcliffe has been, enlightening people about the bad that has been happening at the club before and
Yeah.
what could be done and what is going to be done that will improve those things.
Yeah, but 100%. I mean, if you look at the current structure and the current regime, I mean, that is why it's so important to get a Dan Ashwood in to arrive from Newcastle, like, to replace John Murtough. That is so important that you get a Jason Wilcox that is the director of football at Southampton that also has experience working with the best academy in the world, which is the Manchester City Academy Group, to come in and replace Darren Fletcher. We have a scouting network we have a brilliant large scouting network that's been reporting and saying, recommending players, which have been neglected by John Murtough by and say, well, he's not going to sell us in the shirt sellers. By example, take Moises Caicedo for example. The era of signing those Galactico players are gone. I think it's more about recruiting. Do you have the same mentality? Do you have that grit? Do you have the passion? Are you a good player? Are you a good lad? It is more about, we look the same, we dress the same feeling, like, everything is going to be communicated, and it's like a corporate employer branding specification that even players going to feel the same mentality, right? It's all about winning. That's what it is. And what it will be, the playing style will be determined on top as well, and the manager will have to play the playing style. Will it be possession based football? Will it be attacking football? I don't know. That is all to be decided. So that leads to Eric Ten Hag's job. Will he be safe? Will he be gone? Well, it all depends, I think. Sir Jim Ratcliffe said, like, it's not always the manager's fault. He said, like, Manchester United had top quality coaches, but they haven't really had the foundation and backing. True.
100%.
Another pop of
100%.
the structure. So by having appointing the first and foremost the right structure, manager can be successful, and then filling up with the players, ins and outs. So
I see some guys coming in the chat. Because I'm on the MUFC Realist TV live chat right now, and I could see some guys asking the question. Kenny Fan TV is asking, so what if the Dan Ashworth deal is prolonged for some strange reason, whatever? Is there another DOF that you think Man United might have as an interim?
No, I don't think so. He's the guy. He's absolutely the guy. If you do speak to you know the market, everyone's saying he's the guy. Why? Because it's a you're building something from the scratch, right? You're building something, you're rebuilding, and he's the guy that's done it in the past, like before, right? He's got all
Hmm.
these contacts. It's not just about recruitment, it's about setting the precedent and the culture in all different departments, and he's your spider in the web there. And I don't see there is another person that can do the job. They're going all in for it, and that's why they're negotiating. But there's no way, like, Newcastle being salty because, hey, they're losing something really, really good here. They're losing one of the best in business in the English football. That's what it is, right? So
Yeah.
the deal will absolutely be concluded. I think they are negotiating, and I think they will reach to a settlement pretty much. But I've personally never seen a settlement done by, like, if I were recruiting you as a CEO to my business, and my employer would start arguing with your employee, well, you have to pay me for Mark. I've never seen this happening. But on the other hand, if you pay me 8 million for Mark, you will have him tomorrow, no problems. So it's a little bit of a business. It's like a transfer, right, guys?
True, true. I see Alien Tenor is saying first rule of business, never employ your family. But if you do, make sure they do a good job, treat them like every other worker.
Guys, can you see wherever you're watching? If you're watching on MUFC Realist TV or Mark's channel, I don't see anyone. It's the first time we're co-streaming from this studio. I don't see any
Yeah.
comments.
All the comments coming in on your channel, but we can't see it in
Oh,
our
really? Anyway, um,
so,
so footballing director seemed to be okay. Dan Wilcox seems to be also set in stone. The only thing is that we don't really know, and that will be probably the last one to appoint, because you got to go on a priority list in the funnel, right, from the top to the bottom, and that will be the head of recruitment. I have no idea who the head of recruitment will be, but I think what was his name, Michael. What was it? No, Paul Mitchell was it?
yeah, Paul Mitchell.
He's out. He's out of the race. Was it?
Yeah, he's out of the race. I don't know why, but like I feel like, it's something that maybe
They look.
he has other offers, or maybe Dan Ashworth is clearly that guy. So maybe that's why
No,
he's no
maybe they
longer
looked at him and said maybe he's not good enough. Maybe because they're just looking for
as
the
well.
elite. So they want everyone a specialist that is the best what they do. Not only what they do, but that has that right mentality with a pinch of humor as well. That's what the ethos is. So all of a sudden, boom, Manchester United is going to get scary, and that's what I'm saying, because every single position you have the right person in charge, elite, that
Elite.
has that capacity, that has that mentality, that is a team player, not an ego. They don't like egos, right? They're happy to work in a team. So he's basically creating one whole team environment, like that Ocean Volvo race, what I just said, from Manchester to Hobart, from point A to point B, and everyone is a winner. And that's what it is. So it's going to be very interesting to see who do we get as a recruitment. And there was also reports coming out yesterday that we are clearing the FFP as well, which is good news.
Yeah, I see Yali Malmina's coming in, and he's saying that, apparently we sell Brandon Williams to Ipswich for £3.5 million. Apparently it happened while he was on loan. So
Mm.
that's good news, as well as I see, GB and Alien are talking about, shirt sale of players like Garnacho and Kobe Mainu soon to probably be going through the roof. And it's based on the principle that their performances are earning those shirt sales.
Yeah. Anyway, guys, so I don't see anyone on this chat room, the VR room. We just came here quick and easy. Let me know in the comments section what you think. I know there's a lot of people still can't believe it, but I am on board with this structural change because I am structuring myself. I love rebuilding. I've been doing it half of my career, building organizations from a HR perspective. You got to start with people and culture in every position. So I'm a big fan and advocate of that. Um, and this is the only way I've been propagating this for years, to say the only way to fix this club is start with this proper structure and people and culture. And when you look at the Ed Woodward regime, it was toxic. it was hierarchy. Just shut up and do what I tell you. Don't raise your opinion. And that area is gone.
Mhm.
So on that side, Mark, the statement
Yeah,
from
I
Sir Jim
see.
Ratcliffe, the statement from Sir Jim Ratcliffe has now put pressure on him to deliver. Right, the proof will be in the pudding. If you ask for patience, Manchester United fans don't have patience. But if you don't deliver a title, what you promise within 2-3 years, you're gonna see the wrath of the Manchester United fans. That's all we can say.
100%. That's all. That's how it should be, in my opinion. And I see like Lucky Singh is agreeing with you. He's saying yes, we should build sensibly. I see Compost Swiss and Mark Davies are asking what is going to be the budget for the transfer window. How much do you think we're going to spend? Some guys are thinking 150 mil. Some guys are saying 200 mil. Maybe it's possible. You know, but you know what? Everyone is thankful that the era is coming to an end. It's looking more and more likely that we're going to get best in class in positions to do the actual job that we've been looking forward to for the last decade, I guess. So
Yep, 100%. Listen, we're gonna wrap up this video. It's short and sweet. We hopefully, Mark, I think we'll be back for the presser, right? The
yeah, the presser is
live
going to be
presser.
at 1:45 UK time, guys. If you're in my region, it's 2:45. Get
Yeah.
back here in the time and let's stay
If you're
tuned
in
for the
my region,
information.
it's what is it? A quarter to 10, I think. I think in Asia Pacific time. It's going to be an epic interview. I would think so. There's going to be a lot of questions asked about the new structure stuff. But let's not forget we're playing Fulham,
Yes.
and I think we are due for a fifth in a row without any shadow of a doubt. But there's footballing gods at the end of the day. What about the left back position? We're going to find out who's going to play. Mark has been drumming the gun for having Anthony dos Santos playing left back. What's his name? Armas, the young Armas, has
Yeah,
been.
Amos as well. Like, maybe we could have them play a half each. You know what I mean? Anthony, one starts,
What's
one
his name?
comes on.
Is it Harry Amas? Is it no?
Harry Amas, yes.
Harry Amas, 16-year-old kid, be fast tracked, rushed into the team. So we do expect that. But what if we could have had Alvaro Fernandez in there again? Or will it be a Sophia Namra? But let's find out, people, later on. Tune in. We haven't posted the link as of yet, but we will do. We will go live. We will cover this. At what time are we going live? At 2:30 UK time or no?
No, 1:45 UK time. We're going live
1:30.
1:30 UK time,
1:30
right?
UK time.
2:30 my time. Guys, get on the MUFC Realist website, mufcrealist.tv. Check that article out that we were talking about this morning. Give it a read. That way when we come to the press conference later on, if you want, we can go into full detail about it. You could ask your questions. We will
Yeah.
certainly get the problem with the live chat fixed you know, on the software because it's the first time we've tried this co-stream. So guys, thank you so much for joining us. We hope you have a great, great day.
Yeah.
It's going to be a short 90-minute turnover between streams today for us. But you know what? It's going to be fun, guys.
Absolutely. The website, you can go and check the article. It was just published and it's on mufcrealist.tv. Read the full article. It is about 5 minutes read, Mark. But everyone, thank you for coming in. As what you said, see you to the press conference. Big up to all of
Guys,
you.
Mick,
Yes.
one last
Yeah.
thing.
What,
I
what,
just
what, what?
thought that this might be fun for all of you in the Telegram chat, guys. If you want, you could also put your team builder. If you're even not on Telegram, go into the team builder on MUFC Realist TV, build your squad for the game on Saturday, and post
Yeah.
it to Mick Ruby on Twitter, at him on Twitter, or drop it in the Telegram chat.
Yeah.
We will bring them up in a stream.
So I mean, select your starting 11. Yeah, you can do that, guys. We can do that. We do that later on after the presser, guys. Anyway, time to go. We've been overextending, talking too much, but it's exciting time. We are doing the right thing, and it's a rebuild, a proper rebuild. That's all, folks. Thank you. Talk to you later. Bye for now.
That's all, folks.
Thank you so much for stopping by and watching MUFC Realist TV. Don't forget to like and subscribe and follow us on the socials.